Oopsies, too late. President Donald Trump blatantly defying a court order and sparking a full-blown constitutional crisis. What happens now? Welcome to the No Spin Zone. Graph's Grievances starts right now. Up until this past weekend, it was hard to argue that the Trump administration had intentionally ignored a court order or refused to comply with a legal decision. But that's exactly what happened on Saturday when a federal judge blocked President Trump from deporting around 250 alleged gang members under the Alien Enemies Act of 1789. U.S. District Judge James Bosberg instructing the Trump administration to halt the deportations immediately, saying, quote, "Any plane carrying these individuals that's about to take off or is already in the air must return to the United States." But despite these crystal clear instructions, two planes carrying the alleged gang members landed in El Salvador after the judge's order. Here you see propaganda video showing these individuals being escorted off the plane and transferred to a prison in El Salvador, posted by the Trump-friendly president Nayib Bukele Sunday morning. Once at the facility, they're shown wearing prison uniforms, having their heads shaved, and being placed in holding cells. And the date is crucial. This all happened hours after Judge Bosberg's order to stop the deportations. The El Salvadorian president also mocking the judge, posting, quote, "Oopsies, too late," in response to his order. As for the Trump administration, they too highlighted their decision to defy the judge. Trump's communications director reposting Bukele's mocking post. Elon Musk responding with a laughing emoji on X. And Trump's Secretary of State Marco Rubio thanking Bukele on social media. As for Trump himself, he posted a false attack on former President Joe Biden and Democrats while thanking the people of El Salvador and their president for taking in the alleged gang members. So, to be perfectly clear, the judge said stop, and the Trump administration said screw you, even celebrating defying him. This is important because President Trump is directly undermining a core principle of the Constitution, the balance of power among the three branches of our government. According to the Constitution, it's the job of the judiciary, the courts, to review the actions of both the executive, the president, and the legislative branch, Congress, to ensure they align with the Constitution and the rule of law. The president and Congress don't get to pick and choose which court orders they follow. Yet that's exactly what's happening right now. By ignoring a clear court order, the Trump administration has crossed a major red line, throwing into question the integrity of our system of checks and balances. When one branch of government openly defies the authority of another, legal experts and historians call this a constitutional crisis. Keyword there being crisis. And mark my words, this will not be the last time Trump openly defies a court order. Up until now, Trump's relied on delays and appeals when he didn't get his way with the judiciary. That strategy, largely available only to the wealthy and well-connected, while frustrating to those seeking justice, is not illegal. But now, Trump seems to be deciding that this approach is no longer enough. He wants to destroy the system of checks and balances, consolidating all federal power under the presidency, where no one, neither the courts nor Congress, can tell him what to do. And if that sounds like Trump is positioning himself as a king, in my opinion, you're correct. But why has Trump chosen this particular case to begin his defiance and undermine the judiciary? I don't think it was by accident. The 250 individuals that Trump deported to El Salvador this weekend against a judge's order are allegedly members of the notoriously violent Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. Law enforcement officials say this gang is responsible for drug trafficking, extortion, kidnapping, and hired killings. The kind of people that Americans, regardless of political ideology, would not want in the United States. So if Democrats or anyone else speaks out against the deportations, it looks like they are defending violent criminals. That's why it was hardly surprising to see Vice President J.D. Vance post this on social media in response to reports that Trump ignored the court's order. Quote, "There were violent criminals and rapists in our country. Democrats fought to keep them here. President Trump deported them." Vance, who is a Yale-educated lawyer, not only lying about Democrats, but also denouncing due process. Remember, not one of the people deported against the judge's order was found guilty of rape or any other violent crime. Trump's Attorney General Pam Bondi also attacking Judge Bosberg, releasing a statement saying he, quote, supported Tren de Aragua terrorists over the safety of Americans. So apparently in her botched brain, following the Constitution and ensuring the laws of the United States are upheld means supporting terrorists. Which brings us back to the original issue in this case. Early Saturday, the White House releasing a statement saying that Trump was invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1789. This law allows a president during wartime to deport citizens of countries considered enemies of the U.S. The law was last used during World War II for interning non-citizens of Japanese, German, and Italian descent. So in response to Trump's invocation of the centuries-old law, 5 Venezuelans in federal custody filed a class action lawsuit claiming their deportation would violate federal law and the Constitution's guarantee of due process. That's when Judge Bosberg demanded the deportation stop immediately, arguing that the case raised questions about whether the Alien Enemies Act could be invoked when the U.S. is not at war. But instead of addressing these legal concerns, the White House decided to ignore the judge's order and attack him personally. This event marks a dark turning point in American history, where the executive branch openly defied the judiciary, posing a direct threat to the checks and balances that form the foundation of our democracy. If this assault is allowed to continue, America risks a dangerous erosion of our constitutional order. Trump's actions aren't just about defying one judge. They are a direct challenge to the very principles that protect our rights and preserve the balance of power within our government. All who value democracy, whether Democrat, Republican, or Independent, need to stand up and demand accountability before the very framework of our government is torn apart. Thank you for watching Graf's Grievances. Let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, share, and join me tomorrow for more.